In a world where the likes of Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and even PXG in 2025 claim to offer you the longest, most forgiving, best performing driver of the year, which of course is going to knock it past all of your friends, let's have a little think about one of the brands we're yet to hear from in 2025. Because you see guys, in today's video I have the brand new, what could potentially be all singing, all dancing drivers from Wilson. Now you might recognize the name, but I very much doubt you'll recognize the technology. And yes, guys, that is right. In today's video, we are going to discuss, compare, and look at all of the numbers for this trio of brand new Wilson drivers for 2025. Which one should I be using? Which one should you be using? And which one could potentially take the crown of the best driver of 2025? Let's find out. So before we jump into the bones of this very video, before we start talking about tech, before we start talking about numbers, and before we even start talking potentially about what driver could be in your bag for the year, there is the little fact of Wilson releasing 3 new drivers for 2025. So for me, I think this is a fantastic feat from Wilson. 3 different heads that could potentially perform totally different for all you golfers out there. And the first one that I want to try is the one that potentially might get a little bit overlooked. It's not that one. I thought I'd get that right. You see, I've been very lucky to already spend quite a lot of time with these drivers, and this, I think, could be the driver that potentially might shock you the most. Introducing the brand new Wilson Dynapower Max driver. As you can see, this doesn't feature a whole heap of carbon. It doesn't feature too much movable weight technology, and to be honest, it doesn't need to feature that much. Let's have a chat. Now, before we even get onto the Wilson drivers, we actually have a brand new Wilson golf ball for this year as well. We have the brand new Wilson Triad ball. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you will know that I absolutely adored the previous Wilson Triad ball. So hopefully this one's going to be a good one for 2025. Full review of that coming to the channel soon. But you'll see that when we do start to look at this standard Dynapower driver, or should I say the Dynapower Max, I think this should just be the standard one, to be brutally honest. It's not designed really for that kind of mega low spin flight. There are other drivers in the series that you will see for that, but this is designed for that person who wants that little bit of forgiveness, plenty of ball speed, and a nice workable flight. So we actually tested this out in Florida just a few days ago, and I must say we had some fantastic results with it. Chris, who's often on my channel, hit this incredibly well, and he says this would be the driver, if he was using a Wilson, that would be in his bag for the year. So there's a little bit of validation from a better, higher swing speed player. Now, this head shape looks absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks fantastic. You have a 6-way adjustable hosel on here as well, and you can also flip the back weight round from a neutral setting to a slight draw setting. So that's potentially going to help you a little bit as well. Often, these drivers don't come with that level of fitting capabilities. Now, first shot with that driver, exactly what I would come to expect. That titanium sound, that lovely kind of ping noise, felt fantastic. I pulled that one a little bit, but it's a nice, strong, stable flight. It's given me everything that I want to get from it. And for me, this Dynapower Max could really be that driver. If you're not wanting to spend upwards of £500 or £600 now, this could be the nice middle ground. So one of the key differences you will see on this Max driver to the other 2 that we're going to test in today's video is there is no carbon crown on this driver, as opposed to the carbon and the LS version, which we'll talk about very, very soon. But all these drivers do feature a PKR 360 technology. Now, in layman's terms, that's basically an enhanced sweet spot for higher ball speeds across the face. There's lots of different AI-driven technologies that potentially go into that, but we'll not try to confuse people too much. Let's see just what we can get out of this one. Right, that's the shot. That's the shot that I think is a perfect result for this driver. A lovely big high draw just down the fairway. And as you can see from this strike location, that was a touch out of the toe. So potentially that's where this PKR 360 technology can really come in and help you, especially with this Max version where the CG is designed to be further back to enhance MOI and, of course, that level of forgiveness. It will be interesting to see when we move these weights around, potentially what difference that makes to the ball flight and, of course, potentially numbers and spin axis, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. So that's all good and well with this Max driver, but what's going to happen potentially when we see the remaining two in this range, because last year's Wilson driver got some fantastic reviews, especially for the price. So could these carbon versions, and of course the low spin version, be the one for you in 2025? So kicking things off numbers wise with the Max version, this Wilson Dynapower Max. Again, I think this could be a nice driver for a lot of people. A little bit cheaper, a little bit less tech. Well, that doesn't mean a lot less performance. You can see there, nice low spin shot straight out the back. We've got that carrying upwards of 260, going up to 285 yards. Now, one of the big factors about this driver is that movable weight at the back. So you can fix that into a draw setting if you would like. Sound and feel wise, that felt fantastic. And that one felt just as good. That's 1900 spin. Again, that's going to carry above that kind of 260 yard mark, bang smack in the middle of the fairway. And the worrying thing about that is I hit that really out the toe. That's 280 yards. And this is performing a lot better than, to be honest, I would have suspected really. Straight down the middle, that's that higher spin one. That's not going to carry as far, but it's safe and in play all day long. Let's have a look at just how much adjustability you can get on this club. So I can take that loft down. So this is a 10.5 standard head, but with that loft adjustment, that's no problem. We can go 1.5 up or 1 down. Wow. Wow, I've taken the loft down a little bit there. That's spending longer in the air. That's carrying 268, so 270, releasing up to 290. I can certainly feel that PKR 360 face working for me on that toey hit. They get a nice spin rate up there, which I'm not expecting. This is better than what I thought it was. It really is. The sound of the Max is quite remarkable, and to be honest, the performance that I'm getting with it, is this the one? 2000 spin, 270 carry, 291 total. I mean, as a nice middle ground, what more do you really want? So guys, rather randomly as well, we are testing new camera equipment at the moment here on the channel. Bobby's got a new gimbal that we're trying out. This is a brand new camera and sound system. So I really hope you are enjoying it. Hopefully you've got some patience if some of the stuff doesn't focus as we'd like it to. But if you appreciate that and you're not already subscribed, please make sure you do. We can continue to make the best possible golf videos for you in 2025 and beyond. That was a bit Buzz Lightyear, wasn't it? But we'll stick with it. Okay, so let's try not to jump to the gun here, because as always with the review, there's positives, there's negatives, and there's things that I think potentially a brand could have done better. Now, when I first heard the new Wilson Dynapower driver, I thought, oh, fantastic, a Dynapower driver. Now, is that enough? We all know that the Dynapower range has got heritage. We all know that the Dynapower range, people kind of understand what they're getting from that product. But is it enough to tempt people away from potentially spending their money on the brand new, all singing, all dancing, tailor-made QI35 driver, the brand new Callaway Elite range of driver, and we of course all know the new Titleist GT products? I somehow think maybe this could be a bit of a stumbling block and a bit of a problem for the guys at Wilson, even though we know that potentially these could be the best driver, fairway, hybrid of 2025 at better value. So we all know that golf is a performance and results-based business. We have the first drive that we hit just in the left-hand rough, and you can see that the distance difference is identical for all these shots. That's important. So other pieces of technology in all three of these drivers, they all feature an open hosel construction. That isn't as painful as what it sounds. It basically means they've taken away discriminatory weight that wasn't really needed to allow them to put weight where they want it to make these drivers that bit more forgiving. I like that. I think that's a fantastic potential idea. Now we've got the right one open at the right time. This is the middle ground, and I think what Wilson have done with this driver is nothing short of remarkable. In fact, I'd say it's pretty genius. You see, so many golfers around the world do want a carbon-headed driver. It looks fantastic, they sound better, and to be honest, it just looks cool. They also want movable weight technology, which this driver features in abundance. You'll see we have a 3-gram weight and a 9-gram weight. We can switch those around to move CG front and back in this head to make it a little bit more forgiving, or push that CG forward and make it a little bit more of a low spin model, but not quite as low spin as the new low spin driver, which we're going to finish on in this video. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because if you want to hit high bombing, low spin, long drives, that's the shot that you get. That could be the driver for you. Now, I'd say when it comes to a good looking driver, this is up there with any driver released this year in 2025. I love the look of the carbon on the sole. I love how they've kind of made it a little bit more aerodynamic, and you can see that with the visible technology. We still have that PKR 360 face, so we're still going to have that enhanced sweet spot for those off-center misses, which happen for everybody occasionally, but it also still features that 360cc head, so we can have the full complement of the head together with that movable weight at the back. You don't have to have the smaller headed LS version. Wilson have also changed the Wilson staff badge, so you can see they've taken out the W and the S to allow the badge to breathe through. That's what they're saying anyway. For reference, this driver is of course a 460cc head, not a 360cc head. I am just an idiot. And I think it's really confidence inducing to do that. That's what the Max doesn't give you for me. So I like the look of the Max, I like the sound of the Max, it's okay, it's like a good forgiving driver. But that one there, from slightly out of the toe, just gives you, for me, a more powerful sound, a more powerful feeling. And that might just be my personal preference on what a driver should feel like, should sound like, and of course, should look like on top. But that's the beauty about these reviews. Everything is objective. It's all about your personal opinions. And I personally really like the look of this Dynapower carbon driver. So Wilson do say this is a kind of tour inspired head, although it is the 460cc, it is designed by the tour players to have a little bit more of a say. And I was lucky enough to go and get fitted for one of these down, or should I say up, at Turnberry in Scotland. And this was the driver, that's fantastic, isn't it? This is the driver I came out with. That was a slightly low-faced hit, and that one's come out just nice and straight, a little bit of fade right down the middle of that fairway. So the fact that this is the head I got fitted for, I think it's a really nice middle ground. It's the one where potentially you can move the weight forward, you can make it more of a low spin, but also it's not the kind of 445cc Megatour inspired beast, which we are going to get to, either fortunately or unfortunately, we'll see. But I certainly have the mantra with this carbon driver to tee it a little bit higher, try and hit it on the up, get that low spin drive yourself, and this should be all the low spin technology that you need. However, if it's not, oh, look at that. Look at that. If it's not, there is an answer. Okay, so now numbers with the Dynapower carbon drive. We'll flip these weights around as well and see just how much a big difference that really makes. You can sort of see that tiny little kind of inertia generatory thing at the back there. TaylorMade wouldn't thank me for saying that, but you can really see that that's designed to allow airflow either side of that movable weight port to assist the carbon bottom and top of this driver. So heavyweight at the back initially with this, and what I'm hoping for is similar to results to the Max, consistency, forgiveness, and potential for that nice low spin shot. That felt fantastic. I pulled it just a little bit, and that's carrying up at that 260 number, releasing up to 280. This head for me looks miles better than the Max version, but then it has got that lovely carbon effect with that multi-material composite crown. That felt so firm, really nice and well hit. 265, 290 total. I think if I move those weights around, it's going to be too low spin for me, this. I'm surprised what spin I was getting with the Max. That felt so good. So good, lovely low boring flight. 270 carry, 292 tow. Is there a 300 yarder in it for me with one of the Wilsons today? I think there might be if we just get this swing in order. That felt fantastic. That felt really good, nice and solid. Lovely big high draw. pitching that 265 number up to 280. Better spin that time in the 2000s. Sometimes I think with these drivers, you can be looking for low spin and you can find it and it'd be a little bit too low. That one felt better. And I think that's the best I've got. 2000 spin, knuckleball, that's pitching as far as you want. That's pitching nearly 280. Go on, yes! 301.2, 1999 spin, party like it's 1999. I knew it had it in it. I did. I put some bad swings on this in testing, and it's performed really well. And that's a horrible toey one, and it's still doing pretty well. You never have 2 good ones in a row, do you? Just for the sake of argument, let's have a go and get that weight forward with this driver. That tastes like titanium. 9 grams in the front, 3 grams in the back. Because obviously you hit one good one and you want to know if you can do even better, don't you? For a 3000 spinner, that's unbelievable. I must admit, when it comes to shelf appeal, I feel like this carbon edition's got everything you could desire. From a performance standpoint, that's just a bit low spin. That felt like an okay strike as well. It does feel super. It feels fantastic. 290 with a toey one. Am I more consistent with it in this setting? 278, and that's another 300 yarder, 301, 2000 spins. So I'm not seeing a huge difference by moving the weights, but I think it's a nice thing to be able to do in a fit-in if you want a certain head. And I hear what you're saying. James, just what is that answer that you are talking about? Because we've had 2 fantastic drivers here. We've had the Max version, which is nice and forgiving, no real movable weights, but you can flip that one at the back. And we've had the middle ground version. It's still got a carbon head, it's 460cc, it does everything you want. Well, does it do everything that you want? Or do you need this one? Because this is a different kettle of fish, well, altogether. Because in a world where so many golfers do want that really forgiving driver, you know that you want a little bit of movable weight technology, you're probably going to loft up and you just want to hit fairways. There's also the golfer that wants that, I can only describe it as the triple diamond version, the mega low spin version, the player's version. Now, if that's you, you're going to want to stay tuned to, yeah, because you've waited for the rest, you might as well see this. And if it's not you, you should probably stay tuned because you never know, you never know. Now you see, this driver might differ to a lot of people. This driver might end up being the best driver you've ever hit. This driver, the Wilson Dynapower LS, might be a little bit of an enigma because I think it looks fantastic. I would give my right arm to be able to hit this driver consistently every time, as I'm sure many golfers would. This should produce the highest ball speed, the best spin rate, or the lowest spin rate, should I say. But of course, it's going to perform with the least amount of forgiveness. Now, what I don't really understand too much is the reason for the movable weights in this low spin head. You see, we have a 12 gram weight and a 6 gram weight. Of course, you move that heavier weight forward, that's going to push CG to the face. It's going to lower the MOI and essentially lower the spin, just like you can do with the carbon driver, which I think is a game changer having it in that 460cc head. In this one, it's just filthy. Like, I don't think it's called for, to be brutally honest. The kind of person who goes and gets fitted for this driver and gets that low spin weight forward, I don't know if I want to go for a pint with you or if I just really don't want to speak to you at all. That one's actually done really well. You can see it launched a lot lower than the other 2 drivers that we have been testing today. And strike location, my strike location kills this driver. It really does. You can see it's just that kind of high toe. That's going to make it even more low spin. I imagine that one would have been spinning around the kind of 1600s. That's why this driver hasn't launched that well. And that's why if I was going to use this driver, this 9-degree head probably wouldn't be much use to me at all. But there is always an occasion for something like this. So if we tee this up really, really high now, and I really get this forward in the stance, try to launch it, well, really as high as possible, keep that sternum behind it. that's the shot that you get. That's still high toe, it's fading a touch, but it's launching nice and higher. So we've got that beautiful high launch, low spin combination. And that's why I wanted you all to stick around, because I was hoping I'd hit that one. I know that if this was in the bag, I'd be tempted to put that 12 gram weight forward and really go and smash it. Very similar to the Paradigm Triple Diamond in how this works, obviously with those movable weights, with that smaller head, with that carbon crown. It's almost like it's kind of twin brother, just from a different brand. But I must say, I honestly think that Wilson have smashed it when it comes to all three of these drivers this year. I think there's one for everybody out there on the market. Okay, numbers with the LS. I've got no right, no business, no jurisdiction having a go with this, but we will have a go and see just how we do potentially get on. How low that ball flight is. Just struggling to launch it, and that was the same out on the golf course really when testing it. The carbon ones feel totally different to the Max, so if you do want a really nice feeling driver, that's carried really well. Today it was a little bit high out the face. That feels like the most powerful one I've hit. There's not a lot of movement on that whatsoever. Carried that 270 mark, it's up there towards 290. The spin's low again, the spin's 1900, but that's, to be honest, that's okay. For this driver, I feel like I have to really get it up in the air and traveling with that. Not like that. Not like that. That's probably as fair a shot as I've got. 2000 spin, 270-ish. 278, and that's a 300 dead. So it's one of the longest ones we've hit, but you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with this LS model. It's not exactly built for consistency, is it? Oh, you're just playing like a child. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, do smash that subscribe button below. Lots more videos to come in 2025. And that's the one where I should have probably called it a day. See you all at the same time tomorrow. At least I'll find that one.